Good afternoon, dear students. Welcome to all for today's social class. Today we will see financial management lesson. Financial management in it is in a part 2 textbook in your part 2 textbook. Okay, let us see now. In this lesson, may you learn meaning of finance in business, role and importance of finance in business, source of finance. It may be a short term or a long term. Then financial institution, capital market and stock exchange. Finally, the business ethics. Let us see now meaning of finance in business. Meaning, finance is the acquisition of funds and their effective utilization, keeping in mind the overall objectives of the concern. Listen, what do you mean by finance? Finance is the acquisition of funds. Funds means money or finance. Got it? And their effective utilization. Utilization means use, keeping in mind the overall objectives of the concern. Concern means company or organization. Got it? Finance means what? Finance is the acquisition of funds and their effective utilization, keeping in mind the overall objectives of the concern is called as finance. Got it? Let's see now definition of finance. Guttman and Douglas. According to Guttman and Douglas, finance is the activity concerned with planning, raising, controlling, and administering of the funds used in business. What is the definition of business? Definition of finance. The activity concerned with planning, raising, controlling and administering of the funds. Funds means money used in business. Got it? Is a definition of finance. Okay. From the above meaning and definition, it is clear that business finance is the process of raising, providing, and managing of the funds in business. Got it? Above definition and meaning, we get the clarity. Finance is the process of rising in business and it providing and managing the funds in business. Got it? Let us see now role and importance of finance in business organization. Why the finance is required in business organization? Let us see now. First point, finance is the lifeblood of every business. Without finance, no business activity is possible. Got it, dear students? Finance is the lifeblood of every business. Without finance, we can't do anything. Got it? Second point, finance helps to obtain resources that are required in the process of production and marketing of goods and services. Listen, finance helps to obtain the resources. Obtain means purchasing. Okay, that are required in the process of production. Okay, if you want to buy raw materials, we need finance. Got it? Without finance, we can't buy raw materials. Without raw materials, we can't produce goods. Got it? Third point, finance integrates the various segments of business enterprise for the smooth running of the business in the direction of attaining the organizational goals. Got it? Listen, finance integrates the various segments of the business. Segments means divisions. Okay, for the smooth running of the business in the direction of attaining the organizational goals. If you want to achieve organizational goals, we need first finance. Without finance, we can't reach the organizational goals or aims. Got it? Let us see fourth point. Finance guides and regulates the investment decisions and expenditure. Listen, The finance means money guides and regulates the investment decisions and its expenditure. Got it? Fifth point, finance helps for modernization, diversification, expansion, and development of an enterprise. Listen, every business organization requires a finance for the purpose of modernization, diversification, expansion, and development of the business enterprise or company. Got it? Sixth point, finance is essential to undertake research, market survey, advertisement, and publicity for effective marketing of the products. Got it? Listen, finance is essential. Essential means required to undertake research or market survey or advertisement and publicity for effective marketing of the products. So the finance is very essential for an every business organization. Got it? Seventh point, finance is required to develop industries in backward areas. Listen, if you want to develop industries in backward areas, we need finance to establish industries in such areas. Got it? Eighth point, financial stability will enhance the credit worthiness of the concern. What's the eighth point? Financial stability will enhance the credit worthiness of the concern. Concern means organization or company. Okay. Let us see now source of finance to business organization. A business organization, where will get finance? What are the sources of finance to the business organization? Let us see now. The business organization generally require two types of finance on the basis of the term for repayment. They are short-term finance, second one is long-term finance. Okay, let's see now. First one, short-term finance. Finance that is required for day-to-day working is called as short-term finance. What do you mean by short-term finance? Is very, very important, dear students. What do you mean by short-term finance? Finance is the required for day-to-day working is called as short-term finance. See example, it is required to meet the working capital needs like to purchase raw materials, to pay wages and salaries, to meet the marketing and administrative expenses. Then second point is there is always a time gap between sales and receipt of sales proceeds. To fill the financial gap between these two processes, namely sales and receipts of sale proceeds, sufficient funds are required. Hence, there is a need for short-term finance. Got it? Got it, dear students? What do you mean by short-term finance? Short-term finance means is required for day-to-day working is called as short-term finance. Money required for day-to-day working is called as short-term finance. Example, to purchase raw materials, or to pay wages and salaries, and to meet the marketing and administrative expenses. For these purposes, the short-term finance are very essential for a business organization. What it? Let us see source of short-term finance. Sources of short-term finance. There are many sources through which the short-term finance required to business concerns can be raised. The important sources are first one, trade credit. Trade credit. It is the credit obtained by the suppliers of goods. It is general practice that the goods are purchased on credit and payment is made in 2 or 3 installments. Listen carefully, dear students. Trade credit means credit obtained by the suppliers of goods. Who obtained the credit? The suppliers of goods obtained the credit. Got it? The trade credit is general practice. It is a general practice that the goods are purchased on the credit and payment is made in two or three installments. Got it? Goods are purchased and the credit and payment is made on two or three installments. Okay. Second point, bank credit or bank loan. Generally, the business houses borrow money from banks for a period of 3 months to 1 year. Banks also overdrafts facility to the concerns. Listen. Generally means commonly the business houses borrow money from banks for a period of 3 months to 1 year. It indicates short term finance. Okay. Banks also overdraft facility to the business concerns. The banks also provide overdraft facility to the business organizations. Okay. That point. Advance from customers. In some cases, the business concerns receive money in advance of supplying the goods. Listen. In some cases, the business organization receive money in advance from the customers. It's called as advance from customers. Okay. Fourth point. Short-term public deposit or installment credit. Here the finance is raised from the public for a short term. Sometimes some assets are purchased on installment system. Listen. Short-term public deposit or installment credit is used for to purchase the assets on the basis of installment. Okay. Short-term public deposit or installment credit is used for purchasing some assets on the basis of installment. Got it? Installments means you know, right? Paying a monthly or 2 monthly ones, lump sum amount need to be repay the concern. Okay. Assets means what? Assets means land or building, plant and machineries and other things is called as assets. Okay. Next, fifth point, loans from indigenous bankers. When some urgency arises for the requirement of finance, the business concerns borrow money for a short term from the indigenous bankers or money lenders. Got it? Indigenous bankers means who? The money lenders are called as indigenous bankers. Got it? Let us see now long term finance. Long term finance refers to the finance required for a development program such as expansion of level of production, modernization of production methods, etc. This type of finance is also required for financing the fixed capital of an undertaking. Example, to procure fixed assets, establishing new undertaking, etc. Listen, long term finance means long term finance refers to the finance required for a long period for the purpose of development programs such as expansion of a level of production and modernization of production methods, etc. Got it? This type of finance is also required for financing the fixed capital of an undertaking. Got it? Example C, to procure. Procure means purchase. Procure means what? Purchase of fixed assets, establishing new undertakings, etc. Fixed assets means land and building, plant and machinery, etc. Such assets are called as fixed assets. If you want to buy these fixed assets, we need long term finance. Okay. Long term finance is costlier than the short term finance. Compared to short term finance, the long term finance is an costlier. Okay, that is the rate of interest is high. Compared to short term finance, in long term finance, the rate of interest is high. Okay, it is raised against securities. It is raised by joint stock companies through the issue of shares and debentures, also raised through time loans from financial institutions. Let's see now first one, issue of shares. The capital of the joint stock company is divided into small units is called as shares. This is very important, dear students. Listen carefully. What do you mean by shares? The capital of the joint stock company is divided into small units is called as shares. Got it? Shares is an part of capital, not an capital. Got it? Shares is an part of capital. Got it? Yes. To start a joint stock company, the promoters issue shares. Who issue the shares? The promoters issue the shares. Got it? Also, whenever they need additional capital for long-term purpose, the companies raise the funds through issue of shares to the public. Got it? When the company require additional capital, that time the companies raise the funds through the issue of shares to the public. Okay? Let us see now debentures. The joint stock companies are empowered to borrow finance for meeting long-term financial requirements through the issue of debentures. Listen, the joint stock companies are empowered to borrow finance. Finance means money. Borrowing the finance for meeting long-term financial requirements. Not in short-term, long-term financial requirements through the issue of debentures. Got it? Debentures are the debts or loans borrowed by the companies. Debentures means what? Debentures are the debts. Debts means loans. Okay, borrowed by the companies. A company under its common seal acknowledges a debt or loan to some persons containing an undertaking to repay the debt after a specified period. A fixed rate of interest is paid to the debenture holders at regular intervals. Got it? In debenture, the fixed rate of interest. Got it? It has fixed rate of interest. That interest you need to pay to the debenture holders at a regular intervals. Okay? This is a lesson for you, dear students. Next, the financial institutions. You not have that because already 30% reduced in this topic. You not have these remaining topics. Got it, dear students? In case if you have any doubts in today's topic, what I done today, in the topic you have any doubts, you can call and ask. I will clarify your doubts. Okay, dear students? Let us now take homework. Listen. Homework for you. In first mind, fill in the blanks 4. Fill in the blanks 4. And in second mind, 4 questions. Second mind, 4 questions. Okay, in first mind 4 questions and in second mind 4 questions. This is an homework for you. You need to write in your homework book and send it in your group. Okay, write neatly, dear students. In case if you have any doubts, you can call at any time for me. I'll clarify your doubts. Okay, I hope you clear. Okay, thank you, dear students. Have a nice day. Thank you, one and all.